forgot you can't hear. You might be able to hear a little bit of the thing. Happy Monday! Happy Monday! I'm. I don't know if I'm like this upbeat as I just started, but oh, there's so much that once I finish Alive, I think of things as I started, like, oh, I didn't do that, I didn't prepare that, I didn't prepare that, I should, edit my OBS this way, etc., etc. And then as soon as the live ends, 2, 3, 4 hours later, the last thing I think of, not even what I want to do. Sometimes it's so exhausting that the last thing I want to do is like do any more computer work. But sometimes it's just that I forget about it. So I just like, okay, time to go to bed or, make my way to bed. So don't have the intro thing. I just come on in. I know there's like a black screen at the beginning because I have to start there first. When I started straight from OBS, it didn't work. And then let me raise this up a little bit. And then the music, yeah, the intro screen, the music, I don't even know. There's some random things that I can only see on my end that I'm like, oh yeah, I should work on that. I should do that. Yeah, all right. Anyways, happy Monday. How is everyone? Drop a link. Drop a link. Who does even say that? Who says that? Drop a link below. I don't know. Drop a dolphin below if you're watching this on replay or in the chat. But yeah, I am still at 237 followers, subscribers, whatever's. I have to get my act together though, because this past month has been kind of touch and go all over the place. Different topics. I wasn't doing my homework. I was not a very good student or teacher, whatever I'm supposed to be. Sorry, my dog is scratching her paws. And yeah, so I wasn't, yeah, I didn't do my homework or like my post work or whatever to do the clips. And I have thankfully I paid not monthly, because that would have been just kind of, I just paid like a lump sum, and then it's like I have a year to use as much credits of that. It was expensive too. It was like $100 some. This is where my money went. But I'm also using it for like my other social media stuff. So yeah. Anyways, where did I say that? I don't know. Welcome. If you're new, you might not want to subscribe because I'm all over the place today. But if you enjoy chaos and being all over the place and being random, as my podcast says, which I also need to figure out how to put that through like Spotify and all that stuff. But then welcome. I am tired, so my brain is scattered, and we had a storm. Hopefully the internet will not give out. It's been good since the storm, but we had a storm and the internet just went down, and it scared me because it was the hit of the whatever you call it, lightning. It hit somewhere close by, like I even saw the flash a bit, and then I heard it, and my parakeets heard it, and they were out because I didn't even know. I couldn't even hear that because I was in the basement trying to prepare for this, but I didn't. But yeah, they were outside, and they were just like Aru just kept circling. I think she did like 20 circles or like 15 circles, and I'm like, I'm here, I'm here. It's okay. So finally she like saw me, and she was just like just so terrified. It was loud. So that's one thing. I have bits and pieces. I didn't even do my homework with 90 Day Fiance, and I might just do that. I don't even have time this week. I might just do it Friday, honestly, and just be better in the future. We are kind of at the start of the season, Happily Ever After. I saw a little bit of it today, and I have just like a few little comments, like Andre and Elizabeth. They're going to Moldova, and he brought a bunch of suitcases, and she's like, "Why do we need 8 suitcases? How are we going to even get with go through the airport with 8 suitcases?" And I don't know that we've done that since it wasn't this expensive. But yeah, like when we came here and when we would go back and stuff like that, we would have two each for sure, at least. Maybe not more. But yeah, we would have two full suitcases, like big suitcases. Even me, that was like, I don't know, teen. So yeah, it was funny to see that. But I do think that she has a point that it's more about she really wants to see like what schools. It's so weird to hear her talk about things in such an American way because it is so not when I think of like, and I know Moldova, Romania, it kind of is separate but kind of similar. And when I think of that though, like it's so different. I like I yeah, I mean, I guess you have to like see what neighborhood, you have to see what school, but like I feel like schools are kind of the same. Like how would you even know what school to go to? I don't know. I don't remember that being the same like here when you decide and you like buy a house in a certain area because they have this reputation for most people that go to Ivy League schools or something like that, or I don't even know. um I don't know. And then also like even here, like I just know from like just living and hearing people talk about it, it's I don't know that I could even trust like any research. Like what are you going to read? It sounds almost like dating, online dating, where it's like, okay, you're telling me a bunch of like stuff about you. What is that supposed to tell me about who you are though? Like technically yes, but like not really. I don't know. Anyways, the interesting one, and I can't wait to see this unfold, is having her dad meet them there a week into it, because he is like great at real estate. I think he has like they all have like this real estate company or whatever. And again, I'm like, he doesn't know Moldovan real estate though. Like, how is he going to help? Hi, Kenergy. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is I have a tendency to be self-deprecating, but not in a nice way. I just want to prepare you that this might suck. It might be great tonight, but it likely is kind of more like on the crappy side because I feel very unprepared. And yeah, I don't know. I feel the best when I'm prepared and I have like, okay, I'm so excited to talk about this and this and this and that. Even if it's like two subjects that are just like really solid in my mind, and I don't really have that today. But yeah, to wrap things up with like the 90-day stuff, which I will talk more about on Friday unless I find space. Like until Thursday, every day is kind of occupied, and Thursday is probably going to be occupied too. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know that that someone that does real estate in the U.S. knows how to do real estate in other places. Like, what's her name? Kara, whatever, with Guillermo. She can't even practice real estate in another state in the United States of America, in the same country, where things are kind of more or less the same, the houses, like just everything. In Moldova, like, I just cannot wait. I just cannot wait. Thank you. I appreciate appreciate your willingness to go with the flow. Um, But yeah, I cannot imagine. I cannot wait, but I can also not imagine why she thinks this makes any sense. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe what people learn in real estate school, or that certificate they get, or whatever license they get, it's kind of like applicable more or less everywhere. But I just, there's so much. I don't even know. It's going to be interesting. Now, teaming up like him with a local real estate agent, that makes more sense. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The other part that I caught was I just caught the first like 15-20 minutes of it. Adnan, this guy is not 20 some year old. This guy's a child, and when I say child, I don't even mean teenager. They were in the car. He drove recklessly because he was frustrated, because he was nervous about the baby coming and then the house not being done. And then he was like talking with, plumbers and whatever's he said. And and then he said that he was distracted. So he drifted, and she pointed that out, that he drifted into the other lane because he was looking at his screen on the car screen. Horrible. If you're I mean, I don't think he's driving because, oh, she's pregnant and take care of her, I think, and keep her safe, and whatever. I think it's just like, this is what bothers me, even like with the religion. If you're religious and you're like spiritually religious, awesome, great, whatever, we can agree, we can disagree about the details, but like, cool. But when you're religious, I actually came across some meme or whatever, um like Christians, and then what is it, what do they call it, capital Christians or whatever they're called. um and I think that's like just like something new. No, Jesus's teachings and Christian nationalism. Okay, yeah, okay, Jesus's teachings. Okay, that's a weird way to say it. So like spiritually religious people versus Christian nationals, they're trying to point out the difference. And I would say that, like, screw politics. Politics aside, this is not about politics, but like, um, if you are driving because you're the man and you're, trying to take care of your wife, and you have that responsibility, and you take that responsibility seriously, take it seriously. Not like be on autopilot, like, no, I'm just doing this because I'm a man and I don't know why, and I don't know how to drive, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just doing this because this is what you have to do. And the same thing with religion, because it kind of, I think, is intertwined for him too. It's like, if you're religious and you're spiritual and you believe and you're like living it and all that stuff, okay, cool. But like, if you're just like, you stuck the label on yourself and you're just going to church and you have no real introspection and like reflection, and the priest is talking to you and you're like, yeah, yeah, okay, and then you just forget or don't even listen, and you're just doing something very different, in your personal life and stuff, like, no, no. So I feel like that's what he's doing. Feel like everyone thinks that, especially after the scene where he was putting her in danger with a baby, his baby, that he wanted so much, because she didn't want a baby. She wanted a baby because he wanted a baby. So like, he's putting, like, if he doesn't care about her, cool, whatever. She's like just property, whatever. But like, the baby that he wants, something could happen to him if he causes an accident. So yeah, so she pointed that out. And then he said, and I mean, I don't disagree with him at this, that if you're frustrated and someone points that out to you, if you don't have good, if you're triggered by it because of whatever, however that came up in your childhood, or if you don't have good, like, a strong ego to take criticism. And she was being nice about it too. She wasn't being naggy, or, I mean, so she eventually became naggy, but she wasn't being like mean or abrupt or whatever. I can't even imagine her being abrupt. She was like the like most monotone, like tender, soft spoken person. But yeah, so I will say though that she should have kind of, if she knows him or if he said, because he did say like, hey, I'm annoyed and this is making it worse. He said it maybe a little bit more childishly, but it doesn't matter. He said it. She should have stopped, because that is also not okay. Just because he has issues doesn't mean that you have to dump more on gasoline on the fire. Just like take your time and say it to him later. Maybe when you're not in the car. It might also be that she just knows that there is no better time. Like, never. There's never a good time to tell him anything. But anyway, so besides that though, like, she kind of was like, no, you're putting me in danger. And um in the confessional or whatever, behind the scenes stuff, she was saying that he married an American and he's an American now, so he's going to have to do, things the American way. And I'm like, you also married a Jordanian. Like, just because he's in America and he married you, this comes up very frequently. I don't know if they're like given these lines, because it just comes up too frequently for logic sense, for these couples. Like, just because you're in America and just because you're like, did you talk about that? Did you agree on that before? Because he might not think that way. Like, he might think like, okay, yeah, I'll compromise on like things that I want to compromise, which is not compromising or whatever. Anyways, the one thing that I was saying that he was like so childish, like 80-year-old kind of childish, was that he kept saying, please, 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 please. But the way that he said it, to make her stop, like, kind of pointing her, she was criticizing his driving and stuff, understandably. But the way he said it, I don't think I said it the exact way, but it was just like so childlike. I don't know, something about it. Anyways, um, moving on. Last thing that I saw was Matt and Jasmine, and hi Maria, welcome. Hi Arnaldo, welcome. Um, so, and you're just in time too, because I have not gotten to Blake and everything else. But yeah, Matt and Jasmine. So Jasmine was crying. She was left by Gino in the parking lot, crying, whatever. Um, and she called or text Matt, can you come? And he comes. And first of all, this guy has like a much better car. And I'm not a car girl. I am not like, oh, like my guy has to have, a nice car and this and that. But I can also recognize that his car is so much nicer, so much more money, so much more well taken care of. Because, again, he's Romanian, so that kind of makes sense. Um, and he's just so much nicer. He's awkward too. He's not the most like tender, sweet person. Like, I've seen more tender, sweet person, like huggy and, just more attentive. He might also be uncomfortable because of the cameras, or he might be uncomfortable because of just the relationship they had up to that point, that they weren't together. So maybe if they're together now, which it seems like they are, maybe he's more, in Romanian it would be, I think, dragostos, like, just like, I don't know, just more loving. But he's very nice to her. And and also so respectful, because in all of this he was like, he had her back and he was there for her and he was supportive of her, but he didn't overstep. Like, he would just kind of go with the flow. And I don't usually say someone is better off on these shows, because one, we don't know so much about each person's relationships, and they all have issues. But like, even with Ed and Liz for 90 Day Fiance people, like, even with them, I was not like, oh, Liz is better off. Not that I wanted them to stay together because she was suffering, but like, I don't know that I've seen a worse couple and someone kind of just being, I mean, I feel emotionally abused, than Jasmine and Gino. I I just feel like for sure she is better off. And especially seeing Matt, like, again, I'm sure this guy has his problems and he's not perfect, but so far, everything that comes out of his mouth, on the phone at the retreat, in in all of these scenes so far in this uh, series, in this season, like, everything seems like just normal. And Gino is not that. Um, from the beginning, it wasn't just because he was playing it for the camera, or I don't know, but like, he's not that. Um, and he Gino, driving away, was saying like that she tricked him into an open marriage because he has the written receipts that prove, meaning the phone records, that she would call Matt anywhere between 2 minutes and an hour and 60 minutes. Which, him even saying that is more likely, if he said like 2 minutes, it's more likely like lower minutes. But yeah, so um that she tricked him. And I cannot believe anything, that the tone of voice, something in his delivery sounds so fake and robotic and not genuine, that I cannot I cannot believe him. And he almost like says it with like a, not a smile, but like, he seems like he's lying. He's like playing the victim, like, literally. That's what he seems throughout the whole thing. So we'll see how it goes from here on. But yeah, it's just like a very rare moment where I feel like, yeah, Jasmine absolutely deserves better, and it seems like she got better. It's interesting also to see her suffer after Gino. And again, any other time, any other couple, for 90 Day Fiance people, like Angela and Michael, even with them, like, I don't feel like, it's so clear cut, and I don't know that either of them are better off. I mean, technically, but like, I just feel like we've seen so much of what Gino has done with Jasmine, and it just like, it breaks your heart. And it just, once people saw through that too, they also kind of changed their minds. As much as Jasmine is so loud and, whatever, they're like, whoa. So yeah, yeah. And then um Matt was interviewed, and he's like, yeah, like, he was hoping that it would go this way, because maybe then she'll see him for the crappy person that he is. And I also noted that he said something that I rarely agree with. So maybe now she can see what a real man looks like, in him. Again, I rarely agree with that, because I think most of the time it's said out of cockiness, out of insecurity, really, because that's what cockiness is, out of cheekiness, or vengeance, or jealousy, or just like issues. But in this case, I agree with him 100%. And I think that he said it in a very um, like, candid way, that he wasn't saying it because he feels he's all that and, more. But that, I don't know, maybe it's, giving him the benefit of the doubt as a Romanian. Like, Romanians say that, and they mean it. They don't really, well, sometimes. There was one guy who asked me, we're waiting for a few other people, and we had gone to this, I don't even know what, I don't know, but anyways, and we're in the car waiting for them. And he was liking me. He liked me, and he asked me if I liked kissing, which is he was too old to put it that way, but anyways. And I said no, and also, like, didn't want to kiss him. But I also didn't like kissing at that time. I was like, no, I really don't. Like, if I don't have to kiss the rest of my life, I'll be good, because this is like the weirdest thing people do. And he just kept insisting. and in that kind of thought, like, oh, maybe you haven't been kissed by the right person or the right way, or like whatever. I'm like, no, I really just don't like kissing. And he just insisted, and that was like a little bit of a crossing of the line, because he did not take no for an answer, and thankfully it stopped at kissing, but like it was still violating. um but that's like more on that cocky side or whatever. And I mean, guys can be like that too. But I guess it's not about like guys. When I think of when people say like, oh, so someone sees like what a real man is, I hear that more from women, honestly, on the Romanian side. So I don't know, the way that he said it, I just took it as like, and also it's true, like Gino is just really messed up. He's a really messed up person. And again, I don't say that lightly, because even with Angela, there was like soul there. There was heart. She would get hurt. Even with Ed, he has like moments of like, vulnerability. He freaking has cried. And, say whatever you want to say about everyone else. There might be couples that I hadn't seen or I forgot about, but like Gino is really scary. I'm hopefully this is the end with Jasmine. She needs TLC after this. Um, and Gino was saying that there's a small chance. And then, sorry, I'm talking so much about this just because like this just like drives me crazy. Matt was a little bit of an ageist again, saying that he doesn't know, he doesn't understand how Gino at his age, he's like in his 60s, like maybe mid upper 60s now. I think he was 64, 62 or something when he first came on the show a few years ago. But yeah, and Matt, I think, is in his 30s maybe. So yeah, he's like, I don't even know how this, like, at his age he has so much energy to do this kind of crap, like to fight all the time and to like do all of this, like go stay, and just all the drama. And I'm paraphrasing now, but um yeah, it's interesting. But I don't know that it's an age thing, but Matt keeps like harking on the age. And I agree, Arnaldo. Yeah, no is no, but yeah, some people don't understand that. Because it's interesting, because I wasn't even like vague about it. I literally said no, I think 3 times, at least 3 times. Yeah. And then yeah, I don't know, it continues, but I won't get into that. But yeah, so not a great guy, not a great guy. And everyone was kind of more so looking up to him. Well, I don't know, looking up to him, but yeah, like, oh, he's a nice looking boy, and he was an engineer, which to me, engineers, most of my life, I thought they were construction workers. So, and they are, but they're just like the well, um, depends on what kind of engineer you are. But yeah, I don't know. So, but when people would say engineer, no one explained to me, and I didn't see in the movies that engineering was like, ooh, he's an engineer. Like, I would see lawyers, I would see, people in uniform, which I also don't find attractive. I see like other things being revered on the screen. And so yeah, I never understood why being an engineer was like a good thing. Like, I mean, now I kind of understand, because it's a lot of schooling and very much math oriented, and it's hard and it's crazy. But like at that time, I'm like, I mean, you could tell me he was a potato maker at that point. And yeah, I don't know. I think I've had like a pretty decent sixth sense about people. Whether or not I would listen to it, I don't know. But like, I just didn't like him. I just didn't like him. Mm-mm. He wasn't that good looking either, but he was definitely more like conventionally good looking than the guy that I did like. Who, like, this guy was like, I don't know, he was tallish, maybe 6 foot, something like that. Not my height preference. I don't like that tall. And but it was okay, whatever. Um, and the guy that I liked was, I think, 4'9" or 5 foot. maybe a little bit more, but I feel like he was 4. People were saying that he was 4'9", but he was so much more respectful. He had his own issues of like just disappearing. Didn't know about a dismissive avoidance back then, but he is like, I mean, I've even I've yeah, he's the most dismissive avoidant person I met, like by the book, like line by line. So I didn't know that at the time. But besides that, he was so respectful. He was so nice. He was such a gentleman, and he was cute too. Um, but yeah, he was just so nice. And people were just like on him because of his height, and Romanians are vain. So yeah, that was sad. But anyways, I do feel, last thing about these two, three people, I do feel bad for Jasmine, because the one thing that she said was that she's angry or she's crying or she's upset mainly because of the reason she was broken up with by Gino, which is a lie, according to her. And sorry, I see that my internet is dropping frames like crazy, so sorry if that's kind of happening right now. But yeah, so I've been there. My first relationship. Yep, there's the error. My first relationship was like that, where um, I wanted to break up with that guy for like 5 months, 6 months, at least 4. Let's go with 4, because it was for sure 4. It was like springtime. I was waiting for him to graduate so he wouldn't pin that on me if he didn't graduate. Um, but then he broke up with me like a few days before he was graduating or something, um, because I wanted to spend time with my grandparents, and I was so furious that I was like crying and so angry that I was like going to break up with him for months. And I was the nice one, trying to like just wait it out and just, show up and be nice and like kiss him and all, whatever. Um, and I went through all of that just for him to break up with me for like a really, what I know now, like emotionally abusive reason. Um, but yeah, like what the heck? So I can relate to Jasmine with that. Um, Hold on. Um, and okay, excellent. Coming back, hopefully, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, I can relate to her with that, and that sucks. But she's much better off. She's much better off. All right, done with 90 Day Fiance stuff. Even though I put here appetizers because I didn't think I would talk about it that much that long. All right. So general news. Should I go with that or should I go with Blake? I'll go with Blake. No, I'll leave Blake last because I want to go through court listener. There's subpoenas being withdrawn and blah, 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 blahs. And she's like a parasite that just like is clinging on, and you're giving it all the antibiotics and you're just not getting rid of this parasite at this point. That's how she feels, because that's how it felt from the beginning. Like, no one asked for this lawsuit. No one cared. Everyone was moving on. Everyone was going to like her again, and like by December, everyone was like forgetting everything and like whatever. It wasn't even that big of a deal. It wasn't even that big of a deal. Cause like, okay, an actress in Hollywood that's like full of herself or whatever, you move on, you make a movie. She had whatever that other movie, what's the other movie that she was Another Simple Favor. I'm always going to say flavor, I feel like. She had that coming up in February, originally February or March, scheduled originally to come out. So everyone would have forgotten about it. Everyone would have just moved on. And again, even according to her own claims of SH, she did not need to go through this. There is no need to destroy this man, even if what she says is like exactly true, which I don't believe it is, because there's definitely a lot of holes that have been poked into all of it. But even if it's true, the punishment does not match the crime, if there isn't a crime even. So, like, she started something, just like, I mean, now she's like pretty popular, not for the right reasons. Maybe she just subscribed to that, like, no press is bad press or whatever. Like, maybe that's what she believes, because um, everyone's talking about her. People that don't even want to talk about her, or don't even want to know that she exists, or talk, like, hear about her, are hearing about her, talking about her, etc., etc. So yeah, she's famous for the wrong reasons. Like, this is what you want to be famous for? Okay. But yeah, just like all of it was just pointless, and no one was asking for it. And I think at best she was not expecting that. At best she thought that she was so delusional that people were like, oh no, that's like terrible. And I mean, I've spoken about how, like, I even questioned, it was so, like, it was really just the strangest feeling ever. Like, literally feeling your brain, like, just convoluted. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, literally, I could feel my brain, my, like, brain structure in my head when I was reading through her complaint initially. Like, when it first came out, and we didn't have his, and we didn't have anything else. And I was like, this is, like, awful. I don't think, I still feel like, again, the oh crap, I forgot to close the window. Hopefully no spiders will come in. Sorry, ADHD brain, speaking of brains. So this is awful, and there were, I think, 2 points that I was like, oh wow, this is like really gross. Gross does not equal like this man is like Harvey Weinstein level, like not even close. And that's what she's kind of trying to do. Um, but either way, like, it made me question Justin Baldoni, because I didn't know that much about him. I didn't follow him that much. I liked Jane the Virgin. At first I didn't, and then I got hooked, and then he was okay. I liked him much more. I liked all of them much more in the later seasons. And I liked the Man Enough brand and what he was like I felt like we need that so deeply. And so I knew about that. I liked that, but I wasn't listening to every episode. I wasn't watching his every move at all. But I knew, kind of like, you get a sense for the people. But I was like, maybe I'm wrong. But like, it was so weird, because like, it was just so opposite that my brain had a hard time understanding how this could be that man. And again, it was someone I don't even know, so I didn't really have, that much of a fixed idea of him to begin with. Like, more than no one, but like, like, if you tell me something about Timothy Chalamet or whatever, like, yeah, I'll probably, that's less fixed even more, so I'll probably believe whatever. But like, I knew enough about him. But yeah, so, but besides that, like, it was just, no one's asking for this. Everyone is like just wanting this to go away. As much as we have fun on YouTube, and we're, so many people have gained so many subscribers and all that stuff, great. But at the same time, week after week, there is a sense of like, but why do we have to talk about this again? Why is this still happening? Why did this happen at all? If we're real, I feel like a lot of the YouTube content creators that are mainly doing content about this and are ripping a lot more benefits than I am, because I'm like 237 subscribers. But like, even those people are getting tired, and just, I mean, this is the thing that I think people that attack, which I think is few, but people that attack people for speaking on stuff on the internet, like, oh, because it's trending or whatever, don't get is that we're human. And I even cringe at like saying we in that sentence, because again, I have such a tiny, tiny, audience. But yeah, like, we're human, and we'd rather be talking and getting those subscribers and engaging with those subscribers for better reasons. And yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's fun to vent and to like whatever, but like, when you log off from watching me, or when I log off from talking, we go to our lives and we're like, but I just am over this. Like, I don't like this. Like, this should not even be a thing. And especially now when there's so much worse in the world, like, this is just like, I just want to shake her. Like, just stop. Just wake freaking up. Like, stop being such a mean person. It is just so frustrating and infuriating, because no matter what angle, no matter why she's doing this, maybe because she's like, well, I'm in it now, so I have to finish. Like, I can't just like quit because the whole world is watching. Like, even from that angle, every single angle I can possibly think of that she's coming at this from, is just frustrating. It's just frustrating. Useless, um, beyond self centered, beyond delusional. If she's not delusional and she's just like, well, I'm stuck doing this now because the whole world's watching, okay, but like, even in that, there's a little bit of delusion, because I also feel like if there wouldn't be, that she would understand that if she would like apologize, which I know is absurd to even think about her apologizing about anything. But if she would like apologize, if she would be just, I don't know, she just keeps making it worse and worse and worse. Keeps making more and more fires with these subpoenas, and then now withdrawing them. It's just, I was kind of avoiding reading the chat because then I get, distracted. But Maria, like, they're playing games with people's lives. Like, yeah, it's just like this game that's being played. And for what? They have so much money that now they wasted. Even if they win, they wasted. Even if they get it back, they wasted all of this money as a whole. They wasted all of this money for nothing. For nothing. They could have done complaints during the movie. They could have done, I feel like the reason that the complaints weren't done were because they were not true, or, they were investigatable, and then investigations would have shown that it wasn't like that, or that she would have gotten laid off from the project, or that he would have gotten laid off from the project. But see that too, like, why? I don't know. I just feel like, um, I just feel frustrated. I feel like it's just tone deaf as far as us, the audience, that she's trying to convince so much, and tone deaf as far as how the whole world is heading towards a really, really dark time, and so many resources are focused on her. That is just, to me, so disgusting. So disgusting. We are all, or more or less, a lot of us are selfish. We're not, out there protesting or doing things, running for offices, whatever's. But at least, like, we're not stripping away so many resources, lawyers, time, money, and other people like Justin and Sarowitz and all these people that could have done things in the meantime that would like maybe have helped with what's going on in the world because they care. She might not, but they care. Um, and all the stuff like, and so they're just like, it's all just like this black hole of Blake Lively. She's a black hole right now. And it's just getting, more stuff she's bringing in, and she's getting bigger and bigger and swallowing more and more. And it's just so stupid. And I just wish that like, I don't know if you've had those dreams of being a superhero and having superpowers, and it's like an anxiety dream because usually you're like being chased by something or someone or something. And then like I personally have had the dream where I just like scream, and that thing or person or whatever like stops or like is like met with like some sound wave or something. That's how I feel about Blake Lively right now, and I've felt that way before a few times too. um like I wish there was some magic in the world to just make her stop and like wake up, see, like just get sense into her or just stop somehow. No, like it's so draining and so frustrating. It's not funny what her team is doing. No, yeah. She's losing more followers now. Is she? Good for her. Good for them. And I pulled up Justin's anniversary post and Emily's. They're so cute and so inspirational, and I don't know why when I see them now, I think after that one video, I think it was with the psychologist maybe or something, I don't know, where I don't know why I felt like I was seeing myself in my ex, or I don't know. I was seeing myself in them. Maybe the relationship that I want, or a combination of the one that we've had and the one that I want. I don't know, but like, um, they're so cute. Anyways, um, but so many people commenting on them on their stuff, and Blake and Ryan needing to supervise comments. It's like where does it stop? Like it's just like that's part of like what we're calling delusion, and it might not be delusion, it might just be like um being rich and powerful and wanting your way and knowing that you're not right but wanting your way anyways. I don't know, one or the other. I don't know what it is. um this is all my opinion also, I should mention that. But which I feel like is obvious, but now I'm like need to mention it from 5 minutes to 5 minutes. um but yeah, if the more stuff you're doing is pushing people away even more, you should get the hint somehow. Like you should. It's hard for me to imagine that they're in such a strong bubble and echo chamber that they don't get anything coming through. It's really hard for me to imagine that. Anyways, so yeah, and she's also pushing people that were more neutral. Like Lauren, I've mentioned I think on Friday that like I remember Lauren liking Ryan Reynolds at the beginning of it all, and not being very team Justin, just being more on the neutral side, or like slightly towards Justin, but like still having an open door and respect for her, as a human being. And then to see her snap into like her having enough of it, of her, of Blake, um, that's, and just so many of us, that's kind of, I don't know, like, it's hard to imagine who is left that is not out, like, besides like a literal handful of people, and that none of that is getting through to them. I mean, obviously things are getting through, but like for some reason they're not getting through enough. I don't know. They thought she had a smoking gun with the subpoenas. I don't even know. Because what did I write today as I was doing some homework? Oh, I said, because Andy had these two lawyers and they were talking about how of a mess the court document roster is. And I forget what it's called already. The docket. Court document roster. Um, how messy the docket is. And I don't know if they were saying this because they were talking in a convoluted way, not a very simple way, but either they said it and I kind of, took that idea, or whatever they said um, uh, made me think of that, inspired that. Sorry. But was this a way for Blake to? Does she think that she has a chance? Whether they think they have the judge in their pocket, or that they're delusional in their case, or that they have a smoking gun that we just haven't seen for whatever reason. Um, and for that, whatever 47.1 or whatever it is, um, where they would get triple damages or triple the pay, like they would Justin Side would have to pay for their legal fees and everything. Is this one of those other, or like shooting, uh, loving two birds with one stone? Um, you know, racking up more money for because she thinks that they'll get paid. So she wants more and more money, which kind of also at the same time is you are almost netting zero at that point, right? If they're just paying you, I know it's triple the amount or whatever, but like, yeah, I guess triple the amount is a lot for millions of dollars. Anyways, um, and then also creating doubt in people, like, oh yeah, maybe these content creators did have something to do with it. Maybe there is something to it. Because I think outside of our bubble, that we talk about this all the time. I think people easily could say that and see that. I'm sure if I would ask my parents, and they might not even know about what happened with the subpoenas, but I would tell them, they're probably think like, oh yeah, they probably had something to do with it, especially because they're Romanian cynical, and they don't trust anyone. So yeah, I think maybe it's like one of those things, I don't know that it's just so hard to believe that they really believe that they would find something, they would have some evidence. I wonder also if the withdrawing of the subpoenas was, maybe they didn't think people would actually fight back as much as they did, or it was just a scare tactic to begin with. They never intended to go further with it, or like to show the public and cause this like manipulation of facts, um, or shoot, what was I thinking? Hmm. I don't know what I was thinking, but it just is odd because, again, all of these people, oh, the reason that they withdrew, maybe it was because they saw that these people are getting so many followers, and some of them went from like nobody, like not even my 237 people, to thousands of people, subscribers and watching them and stuff. um and maybe they saw that and they're like, whoa, whoops, we're like digging our own grave here. We are doing the opposite of what's good for us right now. We need to withdraw, because the more we fight these people on, the more they accumulate subscribers and followers and supporters. Because at that point, if that's like how they thought about it, or if that's why, or one of the reasons they were withdrawing the subpoena, or the subpoenas that they are, it's interesting. Whoa. I did tell you that I was like really tired. Um, but yeah, if they're withdrawing the subpoenas, because they're seeing that by fighting these content creators, they're actually empowering these content creators. Again, it would, for a normal person that is someone on the ground in reality, would make them think like, maybe this lawsuit isn't a great idea anymore. Maybe we should like reconsider our options, or yeah, like maybe we're wrong. I don't know. And I think that's too much for them to think about. But like, I just feel like when such a large mass of people that have seen so much of the evidence, is it evidence when it's not even presented in court? I don't know. But and through the discovery part, excuse me, wow, sorry about that. But when so much of the population sees so much and they come to the conclusion that they come to, and let's say even if there was a smear campaign and we were someone like pushed to that side, but there's been so much on both sides. She not so much with the factual evidence, literal evidence, more hearsay, but either way, there's been so much that has been brought up to people, and as much as she was fighting, like something would have stuck. And it's not sticking, in my opinion, because she's in the wrong. She's in the false side. Hold on. Odette? 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 Stop. She's not even looking at me. She's like, but yeah, like it's, some, I mean, I know for myself it's not a manipulation. I'm not being manipulated. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen where, like, it's, not the best look on both sides or on Justin's side, and things like that, but it's not what she's claiming it to be. I've not seen anything that's concrete evidence of what she's claiming things to be. And I've seen more in the opposite. And even with the smear campaign and stuff, like, she's done it to him during the promotion of the film and now. So yeah, I don't know. I was saying that, oh, let's talk about her after, but here we are talking about that now. I don't know. I don't even know that I want to go more into that, but let's see what did I call it? The court documents roster has to say. I'm going to shut off my my topics because I'm not keeping up. Hi CJ, welcome. Hi. This is so confusing all the time when it starts like that, and then it's actually him talking. It was non-party Mario Armando Lavandera. That's a cool name. Junior, also known publicly as Perez Hilton. Oh, that is from earth to sky different of a name. Moves for an order to seal or redact any personally identifying information from the public docket. Supports the Lavandera. Is he like Portuguese? Supports the motion with a declaration noting that he is regularly the target of harassment and is concerned that his address, phone number, or email address could be disclosed. The court already has taken measures to protect the privacy of third parties in this matter. On March 13th, 2025, the court entered a protective order. The order was entered pursuant to the court's power to take measures to protect against the unnecessary disclosure of information damaging or to reputation and privacy. We'll see what the judge decides on that. I just feel like it's so ridiculous. Um, it's okay, CJ. It's I was just listening to Lauren's video earlier, and I hope she. I oh my gosh, like I'm so behind, and I forgot to leave her a message on the video. I hope she's going to be okay soon. Like I hope. I can't even talk right now. A speedy recovery. But there's like another way of saying it. Wow, my brain. Hello, brain. What are you doing? You're not here. But yeah, so I hope Lauren is going to feel better soon. That's what I was trying to say. Oh my gosh. But she was saying that um, was it her motion to quash got denied or whatever? Because, anyways, Blake withdrew things as is. Yeah, this is Shirsty's. Further to the letter dated July 26, submitted to this court by counsel. Oh, wait, hold on. I was just saying that. Okay, hold on. This is Judge Lyman's decision. Oh my gosh. I told you, like, my brain today is one of those days. The motion to seal and or redact is denied. The clerk or of court is respectfully directed to close docket numbers 47 and 40, 478 and 470. Wow. Okay. So I think Lauren was saying that these are denied because it's kind of a moot point at this point. I believe that was her point. And then I feel like I don't need to really read anything else as a result. You have concluded that there is no further information required from the subpoena as to your client's account at this time. We have notified Google that we withdraw the subpoena as to our client's username, as to your client's username. Please see the attached notice to Google. Yeah, I agree that it makes it sound like they got some information and no other information is needed. But I also feel like that's a very standard way of saying things. It is kind of like fishy. Please be advised that we are withdrawing our subpoena request to the username Flawsome Talk. Okay, so anyways, that's probably Exhibit A is the attachment or whatever. So yeah, so these are like motions to quash and whatever. Yeah, this is so. How many documents were around this? I don't even know. Why is this? How is this like regularly messy or like? I don't know. I'm trying to think of back in the day at the beginning of all of this in March. I feel like I was really on a stride, or February, and how excited I was to read and learn about legal terms and dockets and how then it became overwhelming. I remember in May, I think, was it May that I was driving to Columbus and that whole affidavit from Friedman and stuff like that. After that, it just became unmanageable for me, for my brain to like read everything. Or even at that time, it was kind of getting a lot. Because it was, and then you also have these satellite things like in Washington and in wherever and all these stuff. And yeah, I think the motion for a protective order was denied. Yeah, but I think it was because he closed the motions because the subpoenas were withdrawn. That was my understanding. Also, I could have read this like very short thing too, instead of just saying stuff like that. Um, The parties have been careful to file confidential information under seal. In general, the protection of personal identifying information of non-parties is a higher value that merits sealing. La Bandera also seeks to ensure that his personal information is not disclosed publicly to the court's document. However, he has not identified a specific need for the court to take an action that it has not already taken. There you go. So it's not, I guess, so much that it's moot, but well, it's moot for another point. Things like it's there's already rules and there's already been motions to seal information. So he's like, well, it's kind of irrelevant. Like the stuff that would be private because of these rules and how, yeah. I don't know. Am I making sense? I think I also just, my brain, yeah. I was so excited. It was something new. And then I watched Lil Britain. I don't know who was it. Oh, I remember Anne. I think she would say or something like that. And I said it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Anne is coming out. Problematic with today's eyes. When I was watching it, it was probably also problematic mostly. I remember that's how I learned about blackface, actually. I didn't know about blackface until then. And they had like a satirical version of it, and that's how I found out about it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool show though, and I like the characters. I laughed for days at the horse. If you watch it, I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but if you watch it, if you see the horse skit, the painting of the horse skit, oh my gosh, I just was like, I like laughter where you can't even breathe. And sorry about the internet again. Ugh, gosh, goodness gracious. Okay. I think now it's no data. All right. Well, I'm gonna slow down on my sayings and thingies. I don't even know what I'm saying. Are you coming back, internet? You might be hearing me, I don't know, but I am getting all the signals that the internet is not working. Everything but the internet little Wi-Fi thing. That's not showing me anything bad. Of course. Moving on though, after all of that. Oh my goodness. Sorry for all the yawning. Come back, internet, come back. Come back. You can do it. Again, sorry if you are seeing me and hearing me just fine. I'm paranoid. Because this next part, okay, both of these are kind of like relevant enough. Hmm. All right. Well, this is recording, and maybe I'll upload. If it's really bad, I'll upload that. So, Ryan Reynolds, Gwyneth Paltrow, whatever Ryan Reynolds' marketing thing is, they did a video on astronomer, like what do you call it? Wait, it just kind of hit me now. Huh, interesting. They did a not an ad, yeah, kind of an ad, um, on astronomer. You're only freezing. I can hear you. Okay, awesome, perfect. And everyone's like, "Oh, this is distasteful." And I'm like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not, be hypocritical over here, because everyone made fun of what happened. And if astronomer itself wants to make fun and, grab the narrative and, whatever the phrasing is, then they should do that. you know, it's their freaking company. And if they want to, what is that called when they're like, not spin it, because they're not spinning it. They're just kind of owning it. Yeah, just owning the narrative. They should. I don't think this is distasteful. I actually saw this on Shursties. I don't know. For some reason, I like showing other YouTubers showing the content. This isn't the case, but like with Blake, like not giving her another show, another view, another whatever. So, anyways.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth
Oh,
Paltrow.
wait.
I've been hired on a very
Sorry.
temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300 plus employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow, unifying the experience of running data, ML, and AI pipelines at scale.
He's about to stop it. So, first thing, I think this is actually really clever. I never liked Ryan Reynolds. I still don't. I don't like Blake Lively now. I used to actually really like her back in Gossip Girl days. Appearances can fool you. And I used to be okay with her up to, I even was like, oh, that's like really bad when the whole Kirsty Flaw thing came up, but whatever. I wasn't going to boycott her movies. Now I am. Anyways, I'm going to give it to them that this was clever. I really like this from like a marketing standpoint. I think this is really clever, and this is the best astronomer could do is, again, own it, not hide from it, not spin it, not do whatever. They're just like making fun of themselves.
We've been thrilled so many people have a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we've received,
IBS had been planning my whole life around.
Did it, YouTube? Oh my gosh, have you guys seen that like pink salt AI commercial? Now they keep having Oprah. They had some other person, some other famous person. Who did they have? I feel like a politician or something. I don't know. And it's so bad AI, so bad. Those are just like regular oh my gosh, this is a horrible day. Brain. It's like some planet aligned some weird way or something. I forgot. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling so much. What was I talking about? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, the pink salt ad. So not astronomer related, but just because that other ad came on, like, has anyone seen those like AI ads? They're so clearly AI. They're also literally the same exact speech. Everyone sounds the same exact words. I tried this pink salt, whatever, or there's like another one, moringa or whatever, and I had to stop because I was losing too much weight. Are these people dehydrating themselves? Like, is that like this? The scheme of it all is like you're just supposed to drink salt water, which is really, really bad, and I don't even know, whatever. But I hate it. Like I reported it a few times, but it's all the time. So even if I report it, I still get it. That is something that should be investigated and like stopped, because that is like that's the worst, because they're getting money because they're advertising their, actually, we're getting the money. I don't know, but no, I don't know. People are clicking. I don't know. It's just like it needs to stop. It worries me. Whatever. Anyways, back to this. Actually said Ryan, this or maximum effort. I don't know. Did this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I believe that, and I feel like he did a great job. I believe that. It sounds, because I don't know if Jersey, or I actually did not watch Andy's version, but Jersey was saying like it sounds very familiar to something else. I think it was like was a Mint Mobile commercial, or I don't know. It sounds very familiar. It's very familiar to the same like kind of cadence and speech, and sense of humor. I just find this smart. Marketing wise, this is smart. This is really smart.
We've been thrilled so many people have a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we received, yes, there is still room available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. We will now be returning to what we do best, delivering game-changing results for our customers. Thank you for your interest in Astronomer.
I'm curious what Andy has to say.
Look, I'm all for fun, smart brand PR marketing. I just think this was a miss. This is a really serious story. Families, kids involved. It feels very tone deaf to me, like very tone deaf. So when I read that Ryan Reynolds' maximum effort was behind it, I wasn't surprised at all, because this man clearly knows how to destroy families.
I disagree. And you're going to like hate me or whatever. I disagree. I mean, I don't disagree that this is the effect on the families and everything. However, I'm very strong in this. That is on the CEO and the whatever she was. That's on those two people. They did that to their families, the families that they destroyed. They did that. And they also could have destroyed this company. And they could still. Their action. This has nothing to do with Astronomer as a brand. Unless, more comes up and like, well, these people also had an affair and these people, and it's like some sort of orgy there. Outside of that, like this company is not responsible, and I feel like that it is a smart marketing move. I think it is disarming. I think it's poking fun of itself at itself. I disagree with all of that. And I am very firm when it comes to cheating and the effects and damage of cheating. That goes on the person or the people that were in those relationships that they destroyed. And again, like they were going to destroy this company too. He was a CEO. Now the CEO is the co-founder. Like he wasn't even a founder, I believe, of the company. So it wasn't really his company that, like, oh, my dream, whatever. But even if it was, like, I don't think he would. I don't know. But that's on him. That's on him. I don't think this is distasteful. They didn't poke fun at the family. They didn't excuse him. They didn't excuse her. They didn't excuse the couple. It's funny. I think it's very smart. And I think Andy, Kirsty wasn't as strong about this, but Andy, maybe she was, I don't remember. Anyone who is tearing this down is a bit biased because of what we're talking about as far as, I'm curious what Ashley had to say too, but I just feel like there's a huge bias right now because of what I was saying earlier. We're just so freaking fed up with Blake Lively. Ryan Reynolds is in the satellite because he's also part of it, but she's the namesake of this lawsuit. And we're so tired of her and her, manipulation and all that stuff. And fair enough, he also manipulates and whatever. So I'm not saying that he's a good person. I'm not saying that, like, whatever. I'm just also not going to say, like, oh, this was crap when I know it wasn't. Because just because it's him, just because it's Ryan Reynolds that wrote that or directed that or created that or whatever, And Gwyneth Paltrow, I feel like, is their friend, Blake and Ryan's, one of their few friends. Yeah, I am not going to be that person. I'm sorry. I just feel like it's extremely biased to say that this was distasteful. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion. I find it dry and sarcastic. Yeah, it is. It is. And it's so clever and it's so funny. And it doesn't always work. And I think um, when you hear him use this kind of humor over and over and over again, it's like, okay, this is getting stupid because you're like, change it up. But this was a one-time thing for Astronomer. It might not be in the future, and then it'll like get tiresome and stupid. But this, I think, was just like so like it was just good because they're distancing themselves. They're saying, "Hey, we have nothing to do with this couple. They were our employees. They were employees of this brand, this company. They were like in the C-suite. They were high up employees. Okay, but like we're washing our hands of them." That's what that ad just said. That's what it represented. I don't know. It was just like I thought it was genius. It was good timing and good, and I'm like also good timing because they didn't wait forever. They like addressed it, and also because like think about it, and maybe they did also a PR statement. Maybe they will also do a PR statement. But let me be honest. If they would have come up with a PR statement saying, "We're so sorry for the damage this caused, and this is the actions we're taking," and blah, blah, who was going to even hear that? A, who was going to even feel like that was adequate? B, and C, it wouldn't have made trends. And also recognizing that, yeah, like, I mean, I loved, it was funny, her saying, like, we recognize that, like, we're so thrilled that everyone's, like, so interested suddenly in what we're doing, basically. And also they know that most people that clicked, all the views, all the traffic to their website, and understanding, like finding out about them, most of that will go away because most of it is us. It's like I don't care and I don't know what they even do. I still don't know what they do and I don't care. But some of people will be like, "Oh, I didn't know this existed and I am interested in this and I'm curious about this, or I work in this field or whatever." I don't know. I think it was like genius. I feel like it was awesome. I'm not like a marketing genius guru, whatever, like Ashley, Brianna, Eve. So I'm not saying it from like, this is what you should do, or whatever. This is my opinion. I really feel like this was a good move. And I think that saying that it wasn't is bias. It's biased either in your, maybe because you have gone through cheating and stuff. I doubt, I don't know. I doubt that's, but at the same time, I know people don't put the blame where the blame is at in cheating. Like there's been a long-standing cliche of the home wrecker, right? Instead of the blame really being the husband or the wife, that the cliche was like a woman, wrecking another woman's home, basically. But it should be on the spouse or on the person in the relationship. Maybe not 100%, but 95, 98%. It's on the person that is in a relationship, that knows the relationship, that goes home and like faces their spouse or whatever every day, or whenever they get home, they see them, etc., etc. They are the ones that they're lying to their face, etc., etc. They have almost all of the responsibility. And in this case, both people had that, both people had families, and both people did that. So, yes. And I don't think that the company should suffer unless, again, it's like this just pattern of what's happening. Um, I think they should have let it blow over. This will upset people because that's what people are going to include the company in. Same thing like Blake. People are not buying her products because of what she did, not the product. Except Blake is the product with her products. This guy was not the owner of Astronomer. He was not the founder of Astronomer. He was just a guy in charge of some other people at Astronomer. Blake is the product. There's a difference. I'm not saying that some people won't see it that way. I'm just saying there's a huge difference. Blake is the product. Blame as a whole. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, there's a cliche too of like, you know, the homewrecker, that kind of mentality, and that will spill over like, oh, it's the company has blame too in this. And it's like, how does the company have blame in two people cheating on their spouses? You know, like it's the company is formed of many people, and it's a lifeless entity. So like it can't. Unless the company is the brand, like Blake. It's with Blake is like her hair care products based on her hair. Her Betty Buzz based on the drinks that she drinks. Her Betty Booze based on alcoholic versions of the drinks that she drinks. You know, her scents, her clothing, her movies, everything is about her as a brand. She's the brand. He was not the brand. He was not Steve Jobs. You know, Steve Jobs was like, if Steve Jobs was in the place of the CEO, yes, okay. And I feel like something happened with him too. Or like Elon Musk, you know, he is Tesla, he is SpaceX. So in that sense, I agree with you guys, and I agree with Andy that would be distasteful because that person, Elon and Steve, may he rest in peace, but you know, these people were the brand. But this guy was not the brand. He was just the top head guy. You know, I don't even know if they have a president or not, or just the CEO. Sometimes there's the president and CEOs and C whatevers. And yeah, so yeah, I thought he was the founder. It didn't look like it because, and the reason I say that is when I finally looked, I saw when people were looking at, they're like, oh, look, he's the CEO. It just said CEO. And then, and the other part too, like he is gone. Where is it? Oh gosh. Oh, it was just right there. It says a CEO and co-founder. And it didn't say that on his. So that's why I say that he is not a founder. I wonder if they do. I don't know if they have that anymore, but like an about page. No. I don't like when people kind of got rid of about pages, but I like about pages. Oh my gosh. Oh, about us. Let's see. I don't know if they edited afterwards, or let's see what ChatGPT says. What's the guy's name? Andy something? Andy Byron. Yeah. You know, ChatGPT is never like 100% foolproof, but it says Andy Byron was never a founder of Astronomer. He joined the company in July 2023 as its CEO and had no founding role. The actual co-founders are Paula Pereza Calderon, Greg Naiheisel, yeah, Rai Walker, Viraj Parekh, and Pete DeJoy. And right now, one of them is the CEO. Pete DeJoy is the CEO. He's so young looking, too. So, yeah, it was founded in 2015. Sometimes it's reported as 2018. So it was like before this guy even came on the scene. Yeah, he's not a co-founder. He's not a founder. He's just someone that was hired on to be the CEO. Yeah. So, yeah. So again, I think it was very smart for them to like, hold up. We're not them. We have nothing. Like, they're gone. We do not, we're not related. It's so funny that you are taking interest. I don't know. I found it so smart and so perfectly timed. I don't think that they should have let it blow over at all. I think that's not the thing anymore. I mean, imagine Blake shouldn't have let it blow over. She should have said sorry. She should have said something. Again, this is not a very good comparison because she's a very different case. But yeah, she should have said something. I think back at when did that happen with Rachel Kirkconnell on The Bachelor? I think 2020, yeah, 2020, 2021. 2021, February 2021. And so she was a contestant and we didn't know exactly that she won, but whatever. And then people found that she was in pictures in this like, either fraternity, it says fraternity, but I thought it was her sorority. That was a plantation themed Old South formal. And so they're like, oh, she's racist, blah, blah, blah. And especially because the lead, the bachelor, was African American or black, however you identify. But yeah, so that was, let it blow over, let her speak in her time, let things kind of cool down or ignore. You do not want to do that anymore. People, first of all, people have short attention spans, and like I was saying at the beginning, there's so many things happening in the world. People will forget about this, and like I already almost am over this. And what, it happened 2 weeks ago or something. By September, people would have forgotten about it. They want to capitalize on the world's eyes on them for the people that are interested in what they provide. They want to bring those people in. They want more eyes on them. So marketing wise, I think that's smart to do it now and not later. And I also think it's respectful to do it now and not later, because if you are silent, it means you're complicit. If you're silent, it means that you're trying to like shove it under the rug. That's what it would look like a lot more than just coming out with this saying, hey, we're separate. We're not the same. We're a company over here, and we're so glad you're interested in us, but we're not those people. And those people's, transgressions are not ours. I think that, so that's why I think they shouldn't have let it blow over. Yeah. I'm saying people are going to blame the company. That's how social media is attacked as a whole. And that's what with this, unless you're hating on Ryan Reynolds right now, and unless you're triggered and you have, unresolved issues and you don't have like a healthy, yeah, if you have a trigger or PTSD around cheating. But again, I even then, because if you do, it does not mean that you will find fault in this. Because again, it's not about the company, and he's not the company. This guy is not the company, so it's different. I'm curious what the internet will say within the next like couple weeks. But right now, all I've heard about was from Ryan haters, which ironically Andy loved Ryan before, but the people that have a hard time with these two, with Ryan and Blake, because of the lawsuit that is happening. And yeah, I think that's what I'm speaking more to than anything else. Is that I think that's highly biased. I don't know, but yeah. And again, I think in this case, I don't know. I feel like it's good press, even if there are people who will be like, "Oh, that's like." I don't know. I'm curious. I'm gonna have more on this on Friday. I'm curious to see people that have no relation to the Blake and Ryan and Justin drama right now, and how they react to it. But I personally, my opinion will stand unless something crazy, is presented to me that this was a smart thing for them to do. And I also feel bad for, these founders. Like, hello, like we put so much time and effort and stuff. And now, like, if they were hearing whispers and they kind of turned a blind eye, okay. But again, I don't see I don't even see. I even have a hard time seeing that as being the company's responsibility to do something about it, because they were um, equals. They were both chief of something, chief people officer, whatever she was, um, head of HR, head of like the executive branch, him. So I don't even know. I don't know. I'll say that every time that I've worked in a company, not every single time, but a lot of the times, it seemed like I always would think like, is there something going on between these two people? And yeah, the first one was I worked as an assistant, a secretary basically, admin assistant, and to this CF, no, C, oh, what was he? Yeah, not a CFO, C, gosh, what did they have? Oh gosh, I don't know, something. CIO, yeah, like internet, whatever stuff. And I almost want to say that maybe that's why she got a promotion, the woman that used to be his assistant, and um, they were looking for temporary workers or whatever to fill her job as she got promoted. But I now wonder if that's why she got promoted, so they could be more on, equal side, or as a favor or whatever, because um, she would like take his spot when he was not in town, because he would work 1 week on here, 1 week off, because he didn't live in Ohio, which is also like just mind boggling. He was like taking an airplane like 1 week, to work here in 1 week, not like, what are we doing? There's not enough CIOs here. There's not enough people to pick from. Anyways, so I'm really sure something was happening with them. But even like other jobs, like I feel like, yeah, you're like wondering, so what are you going to do about it? Um, I don't think that it's okay for the company to. I feel like companies they overcross boundaries to personal life as it is, so I don't feel like that's necessary. Um, because it's it's their morality or immorality. It's the people's. It's not a company thing, unless it affects, like I said, if it's like a superior person to someone that works for them or whatever, and can be like, grooming or whatever. That, yes. So I don't know what the company itself could have done. I don't know. Maybe more will be revealed. I just don't think. No, I don't think astronomer needs to take the brunt for this, but maybe they will, like you said, like people online, whatever. But I'm gonna not say what I don't believe, and I'm not going to be biased, in my opinion. So yeah, and I really thought the ad was I don't know, I just feel like it's perfect. It's perfect timing. They didn't do it right away, they took their time to put their ducks in a row, get those people out, because I think she's out too. Yeah. Get those people out of their company, out of their leadership. They did what they had to do for themselves, you know, and then they came to the public, and it was all really fast and was really, like, I think great. Um, and it's unfortunate because even if they were kind of like equal, but you could say, oh, maybe she wasn't, you know, quite at the top, whatever. I don't know, whatever. Um, yeah, because I was thinking about that, like, hmm, um, is there a way for her to be hurt recklessly because of this? Oh, I don't think so. I think they were both willing participants. Like I said, they both have families, and they're old. They're not like 20 and 30 years old, either of them. And yeah, I don't really have much. I don't have much sympathy for them. Empathy, sure, like I can find empathy in everything and everyone, but like I don't have sympathy for them. I don't feel bad that this is happening. I don't feel bad at this ad. I I understand that their families are hurt, but I also don't feel that that's the company's responsibility. And maybe they've done, you know, what they can on their. I mean, they did do what they could on their. Speaking from someone who, someone cheated on someone else with. That was a convoluted way of saying. I wish the people that employed the person that used me to cheat on their significant other with, I wish they would have gotten him fired. I wish. That is something to do, or like let go, or like forced to step down voluntarily, whatever. Um, that is the consequence. That is the ultimate consequence. That helps the families that are left, you know, devastated by this. That is the best that a company can do, because a company is not your family. It's not, you know, they don't really owe you and your family anything besides, once you're employed, the paychecks and the whatever they promised you upon the contract of, you know, being employed with them, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they did do what's right, in my opinion. And as far as the public as a whole, the world, I said it on Friday that I don't know that it's too much. I don't know that it's too much. And the guy wanting, supposedly, based on that one YouTube video, that Andy wants to like sue Coldplay and stuff. Like, dude, like, own it. You were the one that cheated with someone who is also cheating on their, you know, family. Your kids, the things that they will suffer as a result of this, for, that's on you. And I understand that, you know, like, for sure, I understand to like not teach and not and be short when, let's say, we're in the vicinity of these people's lives, right? Like, and we have kids, like, to teach our kids, hey, do not bully these kids, they had nothing to do with this, you know, stuff like that. That's the responsibility of, you know, the public. But besides that, like, ridiculing these two, or like all of the companies, everyone posting on their social media and making marketing ads, you know, poking fun at this, um I can't feel bad. And not because I'm like, oh, cheaters are the worst and blah blah. I just like, why not? um I'm probably not like really eloquent today in explaining really well my train of thought. I just, like, I separate those so well. Like, no one's making fun of his wife or her husband or the kids. I know, someone, and that was bad. Someone was like posting pictures online of their families. That's wrong. Besides that, but people are curious too. I mean, we're just a whole big bunch of like a boiling pot of gossip at the end of the day, obviously. Um, we're all curious beings. We want to know everything. Um, it shouldn't go beyond that. And it should, sure, I can understand how it shouldn't even go to that point. I don't care who his family is because it's not about them. I feel bad for them. Um, but about him, I don't feel bad, or about her, I don't feel bad. Um, I understand, that it can be an emotional and psychological toll that it can take on them. But again, is also not, because Billy Bush brought this up. This is not a Billy Bush type of case where he was um, an appeasing participant to someone else's comments. This is something that they did themselves, to themselves and to their family. So I don't, like, I can feel, like, I could be their therapist. I could, have full empathy for them as human beings, and I could, like, be there for them and support them as human beings. But outside of that, I am not sympathetic to them. I just don't feel bad that, I don't feel like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's nobody's business but their families. I agree, but they probably will. I love that we can share our opinions without arguing. Yeah. Um, ideally, I hope I'm not. I'm not getting to that point. Um, and yeah. I think whatever happens from here on out, it is them and their family's business. That's the thing. Like, it's not astronomers' business. It's not ours. I'm sure people will be like, "Oh, where are they now?" at some point or whatever. But like, to me, it stops here. Like, to me, it was like, "Oh, this is funny. Wow, that's embarrassing. Oh, that's like the biggest like karma." um and it's all fun and games and whatever, and then let's move on. I guess maybe that's why I'm also having the point of view that I'm having, because like, I'm not interested to like follow those people much more than this. I'm not interesting to like even find out about astronomer. I try to understand what they do. I don't understand what they do. And yeah, astronomer empowers data teams to bring mission critical software, analytics, and AI to life. All right, mumbo jumbo. Okay. Um, so I don't really care beyond this, and I guess maybe I'm just at peace with that. Like, I know that I'm not, you know, I am personally not hurting anyone, and I don't think that ad hurts anyone. I don't think it's disrespectful to their families. I think it's respectful. I think so far from what I've seen, they handled everything with a lot of respect for the families that are hurt by this. They reacted quickly, got him removed from the site, from their company, whatever, um, and they're distancing themselves from this. Yeah, that's just my opinion. Um, yeah. And I was saying more like the general notion of karma that people talk about. I, as a true force, no, I still don't believe in it. I don't think that because that doesn't happen to so many people that cheat, So I don't think as a true force. Um, but yeah, I guess I was saying like consequence, which like consequences they don't always happen for people. So stuff like that. But yeah, good catch, Angel, good catch. um That's why I love this channel. Oh, thank you, Maria. Um, yeah, I appreciate also. Oh my gosh, there's no data, so hopefully you guys can hear me and stuff. But I appreciate also for like being um being that way too. Like, because we've talked about Donna and stuff, and when she said what she said, and it was a lot of people got angry, myself included. A lot of people unfollowed her that day. It took me a little bit longer. And I appreciate that you allow me to have my opinion as well. Um, and it's something kind of hard, because I feel like in personal life, you're so attached to the people, your loved ones, having the same opinion because it feels so unsafe not to. So maybe this is like helpful that we're like, we kind of created our like virtual family, but I don't know, you see me, I haven't seen you guys, how you look, and we haven't like, um, we're not in that kind of sense that close. So maybe it's like a nice buffer to be able to have like more like difference of opinion and stuff. But yeah, that's crazy though, right? Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. That's like really awesome, actually. That if you ask like the people close to me, I do get defensive, and I think it comes from like for this, I don't really care about these people. I don't care about Astronomer as a company. I don't care about the CEO and the C whatever, and um, not in a bad way. I don't care about their families, just because like they're just not my business. Like in that sense, not like, oh, I don't feel bad for them. Like I just don't care. Like they're in that world, like the snippet that we got from it is like, fun and games and whatever. Um, or at least like, that has reached me. So I think that also helps. Um, you it's not like you guys are coming here like saying, no, Blake is like amazing, and what was that thing that one girl got as a message, that she's as sweet and innocent as ever, it's not like we're arguing about something that's like that triggering. Or like with the Donna thing too. Yeah, we're not talking about how like, some humans don't deserve human rights and things like that. So, yeah, I mean that still gets to me, and it just like it hurt, like physically hurts me whenever like my favorite YouTubers, really just Lauren, um, um, yeah, I mean, I like Andy, but I wouldn't say he's like my favorite. And Omar also kind of hurts, even though I'm very new to watching Omar. But yeah, it hurts when they talk about Donna and their friends, and like it just hurts. It just hurts. I don't know, but you know, you different people, different things. Um, but yeah, I think because this is such not a big deal, and hopefully it won't turn into a big deal. Like I don't want. But I think that's why like this ad just like kind of is more of distancing itself, more of like squashing this to turn into something bigger. Um, but I don't know. You can disagree with that, obviously. But I think that helps too, that we're not like so opposing on something that's like so fundamentally triggering to anyone. Um, but yeah, and I also like I feel strongly about the cheating thing, like having witnessed that on firsthand. I think that kind of solidified it, but I also believed it before, that like it didn't make sense. Like why would, in a case of, let's say this woman didn't have her own family and stuff, um it just felt stupid. It just felt illogical. Not stupid, illogical. It lacked logic for her to get most of the blame, since she wasn't in the scenario of, the woman not being in a relationship but the man being in a relationship, and the wife being upset at her for wrecking her home. It's like, no, she didn't wreck your home. He wrecked your home because he knew. Maybe she didn't even know about you. Maybe she didn't even know you had a family, or he had a family. Or maybe she found out later, like I did. I found out way later. Now, I continued, and many people continue, but like once you find out, it's like, wait, but like you start playing like mind games with yourself. Maybe not always, but sometimes. And there are people that do kind of hunt down, someone in a relationship, and like, in Romanian we would say vrăjesc, whatever, I don't know, male or female. But they like, make them their magic on them and steal them away. But I feel like that's more rare than someone who is just like lusting after someone and forgets, logic, forgets that, people will get hurt, blah, 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 blah. Or doesn't even know initially that there are people that would get hurt, because most of the time people who cheat will not tell you, hey, I have someone, you still want to, go to bed with me. Most of the time I feel like people are like ashamed enough, or like, not even even if they're not ashamed, they know enough to not say that to people and hide it. So again, I feel like it's on the person that knows of the potential harm that it causes to be with, whoever. I believe that wholeheartedly. Um, and in this case, both of them had families, so both of them equally to blame. Um, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. So I love that I got a moment to talk about that, because that is something that I feel very strongly about, and it's one of my little mini activisms, because I feel like it's coming around, but I feel like still a lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of people blame the person that's like just coming in off the streets or whatever, into these people's lives, being invited in, I don't know. I refuse to follow her again. I'm sorry, that's me. Yeah, I don't even want to hear about her. It's so weird because I can't think of one other person. Like, I would rather hear about Blake before I hear about Donna. Like, that hurt me so much, because it was worse than what, Blake Lively is doing, in my opinion. Because, yeah, she's like destroying this, or trying to destroy Justin's reputation, and not just Justin, everyone, and blah, blah, blah. Um, but, like, when you're attacking human beings as a whole, a specific ethnicity or a race, and you're making them less human and less deserving of safety, of life, you cross the line way too much for me. And that's what Donna was doing, in my opinion, and that is why, like, yeah, it's really painful. And I understand Lauren's take on, like, she doesn't want to fight with anyone, and everyone's, you know, and she met her, and whatever. um but yeah, even when she was like attacking Dave, I feel like it was like, what the heck, like, but again, like, my issue is about that. It's not like, if she was just attacking Dave for a difference of opinion or whatever, maybe I would have felt a little protective, even though I haven't watched one of Dave's like videos in a while. I haven't watched anyone's videos in a while, actually, just like snippets here and there. um but yeah, like, I do feel protective over him for some reason. Because yeah, I remember the early like Bachelor days, and he has such like a good take on things. Like, I want more of us to have that. He is like something I aspire to. So as far as like neutrality and stuff, so it's like, why would you attack someone who is trying to be neutral and keep the peace, and hear from everyone's perspective? And yeah, um yeah, oof. I don't even know if she's changed her mind since. I almost am curious, but like, again, it's really, really painful. Just don't screw with people's lives. And even if it's like about, and I'm talking about like actual life, like living life, not like, relationships life or diets or whatever. I'm talking about like, yeah, yeah, just, yeah. Mm-mm. Anyways, um, one other thing before we get to the anniversary thing. Um, well, I have some news stuff too. So, I saw this like thing on Instagram that talked about. Was it Instagram? No, I was logging on Facebook because I wanted to download all my photos in case I don't get access to Facebook anymore because I never go on Facebook. So they like to log you out just to remind you like, oh, you're not logging in enough, so we forgot you. But anyways, and so it was a reel on Facebook that said like it was an AI generated reel or whatever that said 3 reasons why um, Jennifer Aniston can't be dated or whatever. Like, no wonder no one wants to date Jennifer Aniston was the title, I think. It's the stupidest stuff. One was because she demands complete honesty. The way that this reel was talking to was like the stupidest thing. Two, because she asks for personal space to be respected. Like they both should be individuals, and they should do stuff together, but also apart. Oh my gosh, horrible. And three, she doesn't want to date or be dated for celebrity or fame. Yeah, no wonder no one dates her. No wonder. I mean, those are just like horrible things. Those are like, yeah, who would want to date someone that has these 3 demands? Like, it was the stupidest reel. I just wanted to share because it was just so beyond like human. That's why I'm like, I feel like this is just someone typing into ChatGPT, generate or whatever software, generate, reels that will like get engagement or something. It's stupid. And now I shared it. I decreased, or I maybe challenged some of your own neurons with this stupidity. All right. Meaning like I don't know that if that sounded exactly like I meant it. Like I didn't want to say like I maybe killed some of your neurons because I don't know that neurons would like really die from like hearing stupid stuff, but like just challenge them to like want to stay alive, and because it's so stupid. Did that make sense? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. And then I came across these 2 reels, and this is what I wrote for one of them. One of them was about, I forget what the guy was, but it was at the UN, and he was like talking on behalf of like the Arab nations or some of them, that Israel is saying that, oh no, we're being attacked. Everyone's attacking us. Oh no. And the guy was like, no, you're attacking us. What the heck? Like, we want peace, and we're here to tell you again that we want peace, and we're open for peaceful negotiations. You're the ones that don't want peace. And so I was like, I don't even understand um, this gaslighting Israel is doing at this point. It worked well, but like at this point, like it's kind of like Blake. Like, how much are you going to like? The more that you do, the less people are on your side. Literally, the more people leave your side. Because the more that you do, the more you show your true colors and you show how wrong you are. So, like, what are you doing, Israel? And I said that maybe blackmailing our politicians, or politicians being gaslit themselves, or that they're racist. And so they're like, yeah, go Israel, annihilate this group of people that we see are beneath us and they're less human. Um, any of those could be true. I don't know. Maybe it depends on the political leaders individually. But I don't see, like, at this point how you can, like, believe Israel's message, because it's so clear that it's a gaslighting, like, kind of literally the actual term, I feel like. I also realized I don't think that I was showing much of my screen when I thought I was. So yeah. And also I'm learning a lot more and a lot more, and I'm learning about this, like, term of settlers, and how, like, Jewish people themselves, and, like, especially like the OG Jewish, the Orthodox Jewish, and the the real Jewish people are, like, themselves against them, and themselves affected by these settlers in a negative way. Because I remember I had shared that one reel where the Orthodox Jews, or a combination, they were, like, marching, protesting in Israel, and they were talking about how, like, they themselves are persecuted against, potato. Well, not really, but getting my P words, legal terms, mixed up. So yeah. Anyways, I want the same thing. Yeah. Okay. So this is this. Gosh, you can not see this very well. There was this post, this reel, and it said that this is this video that is going around from the Republicans. Um, it's like this interrogation or whatever, this conversation, this, what is it called? Interviewing? I don't know, whatever. Where it's kind of revealed that the Biden administration set up a hotline for unaccompanied migrant children to report safety issues with sponsors. 65,000 calls went unanswered, and only one person was reportedly assigned to take the calls. And, them saying, like, look, Biden is, like, horrible too. Like, he did all of this stuff. And I just kind of got fed up. And I was like, you know what? Again, kind of like Blake, are you not getting the message? Are you not getting the hint? Are you not getting that people could care freaking less? I almost said the actual F word. About what political party and who the heck is in charge, as far as, like, what political party they come from or whatever. There are plenty of Democrats criticizing Biden. There are plenty of people. There was also, like, I feel a huge part of the reason that Biden didn't continue running, besides, like, health issues and other things, was because Democrats did not want to vote for him. And Democrats were criticizing him for a lot of his policies and a lot of his things. So that's for one. Two, even if that's not the case, I'm seeing, in everything that I'm seeing, and maybe it's the algorithm, but what I'm seeing is what these people are trying to fight against, which is people protesting, or people saying, oh, we don't like Trump, we don't like the administration, we don't like this, we don't like that, this, what about the children, blah, blah, blah. Except what they're not getting it is that people don't care if the previous president did the same worst thing or worse things. We don't care. The point is not like, oh, well, this is a little better, which is not. It's actually not, because Trump dismantled the education department. He dismantled the weather service. He just, like, we're worse. There's less than, just one person for this one program. This is all around now, so it's actually worse. It's not better. But even if it is better, like, that's not the point. People are just like, I'll read what I said, but just people are just, they want good. They don't want better. They don't want, well, like it's a step above or like it's better this way. No. People kind of, I think, largely woke up to like, we don't freaking care. And so I say here too about Zoran, like, no one cares what political. He could call himself a Republican. People would still vote for him. Maybe not so much because right now, Republican name does not sound well. But once people hear him speak and what he stands for and all that stuff, that's what people are voting for. Because he actually doesn't sound very democratic either. He sounds independent. That's what he sounds like to me. So I don't freaking care. And I think people don't care. And I think that's what Republicans are missing because they're still playing like old people they are. They're still playing with old rules. Just like I think Kirsty or Ashley or someone was. No. Oh, no. We forgot about Bethany Frankel, who called out Blake saying they're doing old PR moves that don't work anymore. They're not with the times. This is the same thing with these people. And it goes on both sides, Democrats and Republicans. And Democrats, you know, I don't even care. I don't care. But so far, you know, there are these two political parties. Maybe this will be the moment when it's not going to be just these two anymore. I don't know. Like in a lot of Europe, it's like 7 parties and they all go. So, you know, but yeah, it's not about that. Like you can't pit people like, oh, but Republicans are bad too. Like come to our side. Like no, what do you have to offer me? I don't care if they don't have to offer me what I need. Do you have to offer me what I need? Because I'm not coming just because they don't have to offer me what I need. I need you to offer me what I need too. That's why I'm coming to your side or not. That's so basic. But I think it's been for such a long time this manipulation of the public from both sides, all sides, whatever sides. Um, and people are by some miracle smart enough to not stay in that because it's for sure not the education system because we've not been given much to work with as far as the education system. That's been pretty bad and it's gotten worse, you know, now apparently. So but what I said is this is what the old guys that call themselves Republicans because yeah, don't get. And I said, did I say that? No. But I meant like, you know, I can't even call the current Republican Party Republicans based on what I learned Republicans are, you know, and I'm not saying I don't think I would ever have been a Republican. Um, but like it's not what they were. And I know at least that much, but I know someone was saying, I don't know if you're still on here, Kenergy, I think you were saying last time, like it's been for the past 30 years, this. Um, but yeah, you woke us up from the manipulative, controlling narrative of being loyal blindly to a party. We don't care about the party. Plenty of Democrats, you know, typo, Democrats were outraged at Biden too. We want true humans representing us. I misspelled that, right? I misspelled that. We want true humans running our governments. Does not matter what stupid man-made concept of a political party they are, because they're man-made concepts. The political parties, they were created at one point. They can be changed. There is no reason, and they have been changed, not by name, but they've been changed inside what they are about. But anyways, no one cares about Zoran's political party. They care about him. He could call himself Republican. He can call himself whatever. People are not buying fakery anymore. I don't like that he raised our taxes and lowered the rich. Yeah, why do they need more money to buy frivolous things? Yeah. We use every dime toward our small business and family. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm trying to get my new friend off of Amazon. I mean, I don't think they buy that much off of Amazon, but every time I hear Amazon, I'm like, oh. But small businesses are on there too, but definitely Amazon does not need more money. Isn't he the richest man? Whatever his name is, I forget again. Bezos. Yeah, like it is just like so. That's why I'm also saying this manipulative, controlling narrative, because for a while, Republicans have said we're for the people, for the income, the lower income, the working class, blah, blah, blah. But their actions were always, in the last few years at least, were always for the rich and not the working class. And as a result, we've kind of shrunk the livable class, the livable wage class. And I don't know who said that, like, yeah, if you have as many billions of dollars as these top people have, and even millions, but, a few millions, okay. But if you get past 10 million, especially if you keep accumulating that much every year, like you have $1 million salary every year or something like that, and you're not giving most of that away. And I'm not even talking about taxes, but yes, taxes too. Like, there is no reason on this earth that you should be taxed not equally, not relevantly to your income. Mm-mm. There's this other guy. Exactly, we want fairness. Yeah. There's this other guy. Let me pull actually up this one. Um, is Ariana getting involved in this too? Oh my god. Gosh, I hate when that happens. All right, whatever. Condemns Israel's starvation of Gaza. Cool. Oh, you know what goals are? I think, let me see. I think it's on their page. Nicola from Bridgerton. Where is that? I thought it was on this page too. Maybe it was a different page. Maybe it was like a while ago. Is it Nicola? I forget. Yeah.
Like many of you, completely horrified by the images coming out of Gaza, watching children being starved to death.
Anyways, she goes on. But goals. People donated, was it $10,000, I think? And she matched $10,000 just like that. Goals. But see, like, I feel like that's like a manageable amount of wealth, and she just did something good with it. And I feel like, I don't know her, but she seems like she does good with it anyways. And she, treats herself but doesn't like go overboard. I don't know, maybe she does. And that's relative too. But like, yeah, I do have that goal. And it's not about money. It's just like to be able to have that security and to be able to help that much. I always wanted to have money and be rich in order to be able to give it away. And I always say that's the reason I don't have money. Because it's not, but but I tell myself that to make me feel better. The reason I don't have money is because I keep spending it on food, instead of saving the little that I do have. And in the last few years, it's been really, really tough because half of my income, even I had larger income than usual, but like half of it would go on my apartment because I was by myself and I was paying the rent of two people typically. So yeah, but yeah, I do tell myself just on a good day that's why I don't have money, because excuse me, the universe just knows that I would just give it away. I would just be too good, when it comes with money. I wouldn't be selfish enough, because when you look at the people that have money, they do not care. They donate, but they donate like little scraps. obviously, because Jeff Bezos is still a billionaire, millionaire, whatever. He's a billionaire, right? So in order for him to donate significantly to his wealth, he would not be this rich if he would donate. Um, so yeah, as much as I would, like, I probably would literally just like pay for everyone's college, or like if I was that rich, um, or whatever. I don't even know. I guess it is kind of tough because there's so many things you could go for, and like now with all the wars and things, like, yeah, I would try to think of what to do there. But yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to share, like, that's goals to be able to be like, hey, I'll match up to $10,000. And she was saying, like, in 15 minutes, people matched up to 10, or people donated $10,000 usually, or sorry, 10,000 pounds or euros. I think pounds. So even more because the dollar is weak right now. And yeah, and she just like matched it. She's like, cool, 15 minutes later, here we go. Here's $10,000 from my pocket. Like, oh my gosh. Goals. Goals. I would love that. I would love to be able to like help that much. But anyways, so yeah. I would feed everyone. Yeah. I think at this point I would put that money towards services for the homeless. I was thinking again today about, so I had this friend when I was younger, and I think I mentioned the story of going to New York and talking to that one homeless guy, and how much joy it brought me to realize how much he needed to talk, about whatever he talked about. I don't even remember. I think we talked about how he became homeless and things like that. And I really, in that moment, didn't even care, and didn't even care whether he was telling the truth or not, because it wasn't about that. I just felt bad that he, as a whole, might not have anyone to talk to, and might not have. And this was before I ever felt lonely, because I felt lonely in the past few years, like actual loneliness. And even closer than the past few years, I think just primarily last year, where like even if you have people around, there's there's roadblocks from talking to them about certain things, because you know how they don't actually listen to you, or they don't actually like support you or whatever, and they make it about themselves, or like about what they want for you, or what they imagine you're telling them, and whatever. Anyways, um so yeah, and then when I was living by myself, that was like increased by literally no one even around me. um but yeah, it just kind of, I just like instinctively knew that. And I was like thinking about this friend, because um I remember her take on it. And I was there with two other people. We were there, there were four of us, four or five of us. And I think one of the siblings was like understood what I was going for. Like we were on the same wavelength, I want to say. Um but the rest, and including this friend that I'm talking about, like, didn't. And again, talk about like karma, and how I don't believe in it. Um I find it kind of a twisted thing from the universe that this person that didn't really have much empathy for this homeless person, this friend, and it's a girl, that she didn't have much empathy for the homeless person, that she felt more fear for her own safety, even though we were safe. We were in a group. Um, we were not disclosing any personal information. Um, like, we had the power, in that sense. And we were in New York City, so like we had a lot of options. We had a lot of safety going for us. And yeah, but I just like, yeah, like she thought about herself and all that stuff. And it wasn't like to an extreme, I guess. I don't know, but I just remember her uneasiness and kind of like being angry with me that I did that. And this person right now, I don't know, I'm kind of confused a bit because we lost touch. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did. I don't know. She just stopped wanting to be friends. Um, and but I know that she went into psychiatry because she couldn't, I guess, get accepted anywhere else in any other kind of field. I don't know. That's at least the hearsay of it. But either way, like regardless if she chose it or if that was the only thing that she could do, which also like if that's the case, I hope that's not the case, because if that's the case, we're screwed. If we have psychiatrists because they couldn't be any other type of doctor, that is not why you want psychiatrists. Like, do not mess with mental health. Um, but uh, but I remember her even after when she was going to medical school, just um, having a hard time with empathy and stuff, and exploring that. And I got it. I don't think because she didn't have that she doesn't have empathy as a human being, but some people are more oriented instinctually towards like being of service to others, and some people are not, and I don't think she was. And yet she is a psychiatrist technically, and I am unemployed, and did not follow through with something that now I'm like, I was reading that book too, that seems like I was meant for something towards that, whether it's through film or through actually being a therapist or whatever it is. Like, I have these skills that like I was born with, and I'm kind of just not using, and I'm not honoring. And I always thought if I was religious, this would be probably the highest sin, besides killing people, sure. But the highest sin would be to waste what you were given to do on this planet in this time. To me, that's the worst thing you can do. That is something that we should fear more than almost anything else, besides again killing people. As far as like sinning, and as far as like not being on God's good side or whatever, which I also, again, I'm kind of conflicted about that. I feel like if you're all knowing, all loving, then you can't have a bad side. um so yeah, anyways, but I digress with that. It just kind of like, I was looking through pictures today as I was trying to save all these pictures, and I was thinking that because one of the albums was from that trip, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, this is so kind of twisted that this is a reality, that I'm not helping people, and this person is supposed to help people, and she doesn't even want to, or she's not even good at it, or because I really don't think she is. Literally, when I heard that's what she was graduating with or working as, before anything from anyone, that was the only thing I heard. And I was like, how? Because after the way that she talked with me, and the way that she treated our friendship, and the way that she treated just recently, like in the past like couple of years, when I reached out to her and wanted to like mend things or whatever, and say, hey, like, I don't know what happened, like, I'm open to like talk about it. And she's like, yeah, I don't think I can be your friend, or whatever. And I'm like, how is this person? And also how she would talk about like her significant other and other stuff. It's like, how is this person a psychiatrist dealing with, is supposed to help people emotionally? And but that's also why I kind of like have awareness of psychiatry, because I don't know that they're there to help people with emotions and their emotional life and their inner life, as much as like giving them medicine, like doctors. They're not really there like systemically to help you, MD doctors. They're more like, I just saw like Rosie commented on that. They're more like, oh well, your liver is doing this, let me give you this prescription, blah 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 blah. It doesn't have to be that way. I think psychiatry is powerful if used right, but I think, in my experience, it has been more like, let's just put that band-aid of like medicine on top of this, or like, let's not get to the root, of it. Let's just like give you the medicine and send you off. Now you're not depressed anymore. Not now you're not this or that. And I do agree that sometimes that's necessary. But I also agree that sometimes, and many times, I fear that psychiatry is not people actually sitting there and actually doing their actual job of psychiatry, and they're just prescribing things and like, okay, move on. But yeah, I am biased in the sense of like my personal experiences so far. With I think I just went to one and it was the worst experience ever. Like she literally yelled at me. Like I'm not even joking. I'm like, I feel like I might have less problems than this person right now that's supposed to treat me. Like help me out. Um yeah, I don't know. So, um, yeah, I guess it aligns with my previous friend, but it just like it kind of also made me feel bad that I'm not doing enough too. Like I had the inkling, I had the like calling, I had the skill. Like I love listening to people. Again, if you know me personally, as a friend, as a um, daughter, granddaughter, whatever, as a partner, like I might not be as like a present listener. I think I am, but like like it's more of a two-way street. But if I am in like with how I was with the one guy in New York, or if I am like with my practice clients when I was doing the coaching, um, it's like it's just something that turns on in me, that just like it's all about you. And like with the um yeah, gosh, the other Maria isn't on here because I was going to say if I was curious if she watched the movie. With things like that, like I would be able. I don't know if I would be able to, but um, I would try, or I can. Maybe with some work or whatever, be able to sit across from someone like Ted Bundy um, and be curious and not be overtaken by my human self, my subjective self. And all of that is kind of going to waste. That's like, I feel like, especially because it seems like it's so rare or not used enough in the world. Like, not many people are using that skill or whatever it is. And yeah, what am I doing? And this person that could care less about humans and whatever, like, she gets that opportunity, you know. So yeah, it was a weird kind of thing right before coming on live. That's not a friend. Yeah, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Yeah, I think that I am wary um shoot, I just realized I didn't share the one person. Let me like do that. I am wary of what we call negativity and all that stuff, and let's not be dismissive, avoidant as far as that. But I do agree that like you need boundaries, and you need to I'm not losing sleep over not having that friendship, but I did, and I did in a way, not so much because I didn't have the friendship, kind of, but I just felt like I in turn was an unlovable person, and that there was something so fundamentally wrong with me, that I was broken in so way. I was like too selfish, or like just so like, you know, um, that it was like two people, two girlfriends, like friends that were girls, that kind of had this one and another one that had the same kind of message of like, you know, I can't be the friend that you need or whatever. And even though on the surface it sounds like, oh, that's like, that's just them, you know, recognizing that they're just not able to be, you know, what you need. But it has this connotation, especially when you're alone and like questioning everything, and like you want friends and you like don't have them, and um you know, you go through your breakups and all this stuff, and like, yeah, when all of it kind of comes, you know, at once, you I at least, um who was generally confident and okay to be by myself, and you know, oh, okay, like, you know, whatever, um I started strongly questioning myself. I felt extremely not good enough for anyone in the last like few months to a year. I don't remember exactly the first time I thought about that, but it was like some time after the fall. I don't know, fall or later. Um, and yeah, so it's not like I miss the friendship per se, but it makes you like question that sometimes, like your own self-worth, or like, you know, like maybe people are better off without being friends with me. Like maybe I shouldn't try to even have friends, because like, you know, I'll just make their life this much worse, apparently. Stuff like that. I don't know. And that's true, you know, to an extent. We all make each other's lives worse and better. Ideally, you just want the balance. um, but yeah. Anyways, I want to share, I'll put it in the chat now. I want to share my friend's GoFundMe. Gosh, fine. Okay, whatever. So hold on one second, because what that is again. And those eyes are like, what did I do? Anyways, so my friend has a GoFundMe. He's an awesome filmmaker, photographer. Um, and so please donate if you can. If you can't, that's also okay. I don't know, the lowest I see like $15. Like, I don't know. Once I get my door dashing money this week, I'll donate. I completely forgot. I feel so bad. But yeah, this is a summer camp for children living under occupation. This is something he thought of. Help children find joy amidst crisis. Right now in Hebron, Palestinians live under constant fear, escalating military raids, settler violence, and the trauma of stolen homes. Due to the many consequences of this daily reality, children take on unimaginable weight. His friend I don't know, Abu Shamsia. I need to start learning some more foreign languages, just so I can like expand my knowledge of how to pronounce names, because I feel so bad. Like, oh my gosh, I will not be able to pronounce that, and I don't know. With the help of 5 volunteers, is organizing a 5-day summer camp for 60 children in the neighborhood around Shuhada Street, one of the most heavily militarized areas in the West Bank. This camp will provide Daily meals, where is that? Well, daily meals, for many, their only reliable food. Art, games, and sports. A field trip, a safe space to laugh, heal, and feel free. I mean, just that alone, honestly, for children, that alone is more, it's like, that's like the ultimate thing. It is so freezing. Oh my gosh. Why this matters. War steals childhood. Studies show nearly all Palestinian kids in occupied areas suffer severe anxiety. Play is survival. Children here grow up too fast, taking on adult roles to help their families survive. This camp lets them put that weight down even briefly. And they need $2,245 to cover for these. So yeah. Good cause, yeah. Oh, thank you guys. Again, like, especially as someone who is unemployed and like struggling financially, and it's tough. I understand, and there's so many causes, so many things, that pull us. But I wanted to share for anyone that can and wants to. I don't know what my dog wants right now. And I'll also include the link in the stuff, in the box below, the description and comments below. And I also I don't want to go through the like private messages. Justin and Emily, but before that, I want to show you this guy's work to his Instagram, because he's like, follow him too if you can. We'll go through this again. Okay. His name is Nehemiah. And he is, I feel like, incredible. Fun fact, my mom used to babysit him, which is so weird. It is, what's weird is that as I grew up and wanted to do film, it is weird how many people I've discovered wanted to do that, like, independent. Like, I didn't know they were about that until like I was already on that path in some sort of way. And yeah, I don't know. So yeah, he takes some like really cool stuff. And then he also Emmys and Zohran, Celebration and Hope Dump. My dog, oh my gosh. I guess he won an Emmy. I forgot about this part. I think he does documentaries right now, and I know he's been in Israel and Palestine area in Gaza, I think, for a while. Like, I think like a few years ago he was going there and having like a documentary. I don't know if that's what this one is about. I forget. Some people's, oh my gosh. I just had photos today of my dog. Like, when we go to sleep, she does not want to be near me. She wants to be like opposite sides of the bed, which is great. And sometimes not. When I'm cold, I'm like, come on, just be an extra little blanket. But in the morning, she just pushes closer and closer. She just wants to like be on your face. This is so cute. Oh, this is the thing that
I'm on a porch.
Not even drank it yet.
You. Am I the only one?
Yeah.
Sometimes politics is a lot less straightforward than we're led to believe. Especially in a place like this. Elliott County looks like any other part of rural Kentucky, but it's not. In fact, it might have the weirdest politics of any place in the country. That's because Elliott County voted for Democrats in every presidential election for 144 years straight. FDR, Truman, JFK, LBJ, Carter, Clinton, Obama, and then... In 2016, vote for Donald Trump?
Yep.
2020?
Yep.
2024?
Yep. Definitely.
The single largest swing from Obama to Trump happened right here. But a few years later, something just as surprising happened. Elliott County voted for Governor Andy Beshear, a Democrat. So what's the deal with Elliott County?
I want to watch this now. Anyways, so let me share just like his page. Also in here, go follow him if you want to. But yeah, I think he's like incredible. He's incredible at all of it. So yeah. Anyways, last but not least, Emily and Justin. I think this is actually a pretty good kind of segue. After like all the craziness, other craziness that we've talked about. Let me close that. Let me close that. Ending on like a nice note. Justin's post, I'd marry you again and again and again and again. I don't know if I read all the agains right. Happy anniversary, my love. 12. And then she also has her own 12, still madly in love with you. I don't know. I love these two. And I love them more because they were so open about, not because they were open about it, but because they were open about it, we got to know that they don't have it easy. They didn't have it easy. They did the hard work. They also are shedding a light of what it means to like have a good relationship, because the myth of like it's just perfect and you meet your soulmate and it just works out and it's just like there's no arguments, there's nothing that's contradicting, there's no fighting, there's no rough patches and tough times and whatever. And they are so open about like their first few years together was rough. They were like butting heads. They were like loving each other the wrong way, and it was rough. It was just hard work. It wasn't so much of a honeymoon period. I think they even say they didn't really have a honeymoon period. They just started working on their relationship from the get-go. And as someone who always, well, not always maybe, but definitely like once I understood about, I don't know, psychology, relationships, whatever, I went to therapy and I was like, okay, when I meet someone that I really want to like work things out with, like we need to go to therapy like right away. So we like get ahead of the bad stuff so we don't end up breaking up. And I think as a child of divorce, I had found like in therapy, like, oh, like if we do that, like we might not end up like my parents, because my parents did love each other. It didn't work out. And even they say that if they, or at least my mom, if they would have had the same acceptance for therapy as it is now and couples therapy, and they would have gone through that, they might have not broken up, they might have not gotten divorced. So I think a lot of stuff kind of build up in my head, like go to therapy. My ex understandably felt like that was outrageous. Like we just met 3 months ago and you want to go to therapy. But I guess I was kind of like them. Like I just saw the benefits and I just saw the worst that could happen if not. Like people that love each other and might even be made for each other not end up being together because of these things that were built up to that point, previous relationships or like childhoods or whatever's, or personality differences or whatever, that lack of like skills to have like a coupling, have a partnership, all this stuff, it's like working against you for all of us. I think so few people have had the upbringing that is as close to perfect as possible, that is teaching them, the skills to be in a relationship with someone that's so different than you, that especially now is even more different, because 50 years ago it was more like you pretty much grew more or less in the same area. But now it's so global And you'll find people that, oh my gosh, sneeze. No, don't come. You'll find people that have like completely different worldviews and upbringing and everything. And like, we're not trained for that. We were not taught those skills. And it's skills. And we still think that it's about like this magic, like you just meet someone and it's easy, you know? So I love them for that, because they were very upfront about that. And you see them, how much they are in love. And you also hear how hard it was at the same time. And also how easy it is at the same time. And I think, to me, that's kind of why I felt like I loved my ex, because it was like hard and easy. Like, it was just kind of like, it just like, it didn't really require much effort to convince me. Well, I don't know. It's unexplainable. I don't know. Anyways, and I love that she credited their daughter for this photo too. Oh, they're so cute. Yeah. I love Elsie's mom and dad, happy anniversary. Yeah. I feel like I might be Emily's age. I don't know. I feel like I cannot call them mom and dad. I am, and Elsie too. Like, she's not that young either, but yeah, I can't get with that trend. But yeah. Anyways, I haven't commented yet. They look so good together. Yeah, but that's like, and I think they would say this too. I'm kind of speaking on their behalf, and I shouldn't. I think personally, based on what I heard from them, is that they would credit them looking good together, not because they're just good looking people too, but because of the hard work that they did, and they loved each other. There was like a quote or something that love is an action. You know, love is a verb. It's not like a passive thing that happens to you. I think like it's trying to get to something, but I think it's both. Again, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I'm like basing a lot of my opinion on how I felt, so far in life. But I would say that it's something that happens to you, and also you have to act on, like, and maybe it's also like being, like I said, a child of divorce, that like if you don't act on it, you lose it. And or you don't lose the love necessarily, but you lose the person, and you lose the life that you would have together. I wrote like the first song that I published. It's on Spotify. The first song is called E, and it's because I have a name for that. I would write fan fiction, and I would have a name for my fan fiction daughter that starts with E. And so it was during the pandemic, and I started feeling a lot more about like, oh my gosh, I won't have children, and I want children, and like just panic mode, right? Because we're in lockdown, and like it was like, if it doesn't work out, and me and my ex were like friends, kind of, yeah, during that time. I'm like, how am I even going to find someone else? Like, it was just like panic mode. So I wrote E, and it's for this, like, the idea of it is like this child that doesn't get to be born because the people didn't work their crap out, and they didn't get to be together, and maybe they got together with other people and had other kids or whatever. But this idea that, this is the first time I ever talked about this with anyone. Like, no one knows the story until you guys now. But yeah, and I thought that was it. It was inspired, and the sound of it too is kind of that Brazilian, bossa nova, I think, kind of sound. Because it was inspired by Blue, the song that Beyonce did on one of her albums, that is in that style. And I heard that, and because it's for her daughter and the lyrics, they inspired mine. But mine, it doesn't have a background to it, so you probably won't be able to tell it's bossa nova. it's it just sounds probably like nothing. But yeah, I think that in my 20s for sure, and even when I met my ex, I think I was 100% like, oh, like you meet someone and if it's the right person, it's easy and you're just going to know how to communicate and you're going to understand each other. Kind of like how I feel with this one new girlfriend, honestly. Like, it was just easy, but I think I think it's different when you're like trying to meet your life partner because there's so much more at stake than a friend. You don't, you don't end up living every single day with your friend typically like you would with a partner, so you don't need to like vet them more or less. At least that's the train of thought that we have, in the same kind of way, like, are they going to like kill me in my sleep kind of thing, stuff like that. But technically that is also something that you should vet your friends for. But yeah, it's I don't know, I feel like it's a lot more pressure, more expectations on a partner. And yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I also think I was starting to question, like, if we would have met this girl and I, if we would have met last year or 2 years ago or 3 or 4 or whatever years ago, would we have like hit it off the same way? Because I've changed a lot. In a lot of ways, I'm kind of sad in some ways that I've changed, but like in some ways I've changed for the better. And so yeah, I don't know. Like you don't know. You don't know if the reason that you get along with someone or that it's easy with someone is because of the timing, because they say also timing is everything. So yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I appreciate that they, Emily and Justin, they talk about how much hard work they put in and how much they still put in to their relationship. And I think that's why they're cute. And that also brings you together. And like, that's, I feel like, where love like turns into something so much bigger and deeper. And it's so obvious, not to end it on like a kind of a petty note, but I will. It's so obvious that no matter how much they love each other, Blake and Ryan don't have that deep love. They don't have that. It's obvious, like, Blake and Ryan are kind of like the average couple. They're not special. They're not the type, like, even to be a bit more petty, Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost, they are this couple. They are together. They're in sync. They look like, and they come across, and they the way they present themselves as a couple, everything about them, you can see they talk to each other, and they work through things, and they work things out, and they're a partnership. They're like together. Blake and Ryan, I don't know that they're like fake, kind of like people say about Beyonce and what's his name? I feel like even they seem to be more together than Blake and Ryan. I don't know if it's fake. I don't think it's fake. I think they just don't realize that they can have better, that with each other, not even with other people, with each other. Yeah, anyways. So on that petty note, I realized it is way later than I thought, and tomorrow is kind of a stressful morning, or noon, whatever, afternoon, but morning to me. I will be up before noon, but it still feels like, morning. Once I get past that, it's going to be actually really fun. I am excited for the afternoon, but like the noon part is like, I just realized, oh my gosh, Oh, terrifying. So anyways, have a wonderful night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the space that we're co-creating and have co-created. And yeah, look at that. From not feeling like I have much to say to saying a bunch of stuff. I also had like kindness versus empathy, and I'll just briefly mention that I think there is a difference between that. I think you can be kind and not have empathy, and I think you can have empathy and not be kind, because they're not the same thing. But anyways, you can see the love in Justin's photo, not with Blake and Ryan. Yeah, and you can say like, oh, they're just like maybe in private they love each other and stuff, but like they don't seem like the type of people that like tell me what's wrong. Let's go deep together and figure out, why that is and all that stuff. They seem like, oh, like what happened today, or what's going on? Oh, that sucks. Or you know, let's sleep together, or let's like attack those people or whatever. I don't know. Like they don't seem like they have that connection, that introspection. I don't know. Have a good night, guys. Thank you. Peace, love, and compassion. And I'll see you Friday. Bye.